Hey y'all. So before I get into this third episode of Love After Lockup, I just want to make a correction. Tracy actually had a baby girl, not a baby boy. I had seen a couple different videos, so I was um, confused because on one I saw she said she had a boy, and then then later I found out she had a girl, so it was actually a girl. Um, So, to get into this third episode of Love After Lockup, we're going to start off with Rachel and Doug. And Rachel is getting ready for Doug to be released. He's going to be released the next day. So, she's packing, she's getting the non alcoholic booze together, she's getting the bologna, she has the boobs, and I guess she gonna save the other beef for when he get out. So she's all super excited, and she kind of reiterates that they've been married for 4 months. She's gonna leave Dougie at her mom's house while she goes and picks up Doug, so that they can come back and just get busy wherever they want to get busy at. So she's explaining to him his curfew times that he's gonna have to abide by when he gets out, and pretty much he's complaining about it, and he's like, oh, I can't do that and all this other stuff. And she's like, well, just speak to the manager. And I'm not well versed on how the probation slash parole system works, but I mean, can you just talk to the probation's manager if you don't like what's going on? Because I mean, I'm sure they have a manager, but I'm sure that complaints about curfew time is not what the manager is for. So she goes on to say that she hopes that he loves her enough to abide by the rules. And I don't think it's about whether he loves her enough. I guess in her mind it is, but honestly, does he want to lead a different life enough, and does he want it bad enough for his son and for himself and stuff like that? So if that's not the case, then he may end up right back in jail where he started. But we will see. So the next couple that we move on to is Brittany and Ray, and she is packing and getting ready to pick up Ray. Now she has this iPhone that she bought for him, and it is unlocked. Unlocked. It has her password, or a password that she put on the phone for him to use, and she expects him to call her a lot when he gets out of jail. So I'm thinking that, maybe she's expecting him to call her at the same frequency that he's calling her while he's in jail, which I believe is not going to be the case. So I think she's in for a little disappointment on that note. She also mentions that she plans on checking his social media um, once, two, two times, maybe three times a week, whenever she feels like she needs to. She admits that she's insecure, and she's already going into this thinking that he's not going to be faithful, I guess, because of the way he found her, which was on social media. But at the same time, like, I think it's bad to go into any relationship expecting someone to be unfaithful. And if that's like a major fear that you have, like, instead of, at her age, she should be, honestly, she should be through with doing all that kind of stuff, going through phones and all that other stuff, because sometimes you find things and it's out of context and you don't know what it is. But at the same time, if she's going into this thinking that he's going to be unfaithful, like, she's bringing her fears or her experiences from her past relationships into her new relationships, which I know is hard not to do. But at the same time, like, I feel like you gain that experience, and once you gain that experience, um, I don't think that carrying fears into a new relationship is wise. I think it's more wise to be cautious and kind of know what to look for as far as red signs. If that person is not being honest, or you feel like something weird is going on or something is off. So instead of bringing her insecurities into their new relationship, which they haven't even had a chance to experience together, like physically out in the outside world, outside of prison. She just needs to kind of keep her eyes open and be cautious and just watch and be mindful of what could possibly happen, but not put so much emphasis on the fact that in the back of her mind she feels like it will happen, because with that she's already setting herself up for failure. So she's riding to his parents' house, and in her mind, he comes from a bad neighborhood, bad area. He's from the hood and stuff like that. And I guess from what he's told her, especially dealing with his financial situation, that's what she assumes is going on. But I tell you what, when she pulled up and saw his parents' house, no, his parents' house was so nice that she said she called it a home. Okay. She said their home is beautiful, because it was beautiful. Landscape was on point and everything. Whoever edged up that grass did a good job, because that house was looking nice from the outside. So I can imagine what she feels like is going on the inside, and kind of shows what their financial situation really is. So now she's kind of skeptical about what he's told her so far about his finances, or whatever he's told her in order to get her to send him money. So, she kind of has the eyebrow raised on that, but she's still going to move forward, because honestly, she's packed. She's drove out there. She done bought him the phone. She done got these t-shirts made. So, I mean, it's nothing to do at this point but to keep on going in her mind. As she's walking up to his parents' house, she's thinking out loud, or not more so thinking out loud. She's letting it be known that, she doesn't think that his family knows that she wants to hurry up and get married, have kids, and start a life together, which is like a common theme on this show. So I don't know if she's going to be open to sharing that with his family if she's just meeting them for the first time. So I'm assuming that she may go in and kind of get a feel for them first and see how they are before she even brings all of that up, and kind of get a vibe of everything that's going on. So they won't be looking at her like she's crazy. And I feel like on some level she does feel like it may be too much to ask, because it's something that's in the back of her mind, like, oh, I hope they know that this is what I want, but they can't know what you want. You're going to have to communicate that to them, and they're going to ask questions. So I hope she's ready for that. The next couple that we're going to move on to is Deontay and Nicole. So Deontay and Nicole are leaving the prison, and she's still excited about that $1,000 that he gave her. And it's just like, okay, girl, we get it. He gave you $1,000. It's not going to last you that long. Especially since, in the confession, when she got out, she has like this kind of dusty brown colored hair. And in the confessional, you can see that her hair is blonde again. So she definitely went and got those roots touched up. She definitely went and got some color done. She definitely went and got some extensions, because her hair is actually not as full in the car as it is in the confessional. So I'm sure a good portion of that money went towards her hair, and that stuff is color. And when you get into color and extensions and all that other stuff to make your hair be more full and to get that level of blonde that she got, it's not cheap. So yeah, that $1,000 is probably gone right now. As well, of course it's gone because the season's over and they're just now showing the episodes, but that money is gone. That money went to her hair and whatever little frivolous things that she decided to buy with that money. So he gives her the gift bag, and she sees that it has the watches in there, and she's excited, and she sees the lingerie. But when she gets to the lingerie, she's acting brand new, like, what you want me to do with this? And Deontay was like, you already know what I want you to do with that. And she was like, I will put it on, take a couple pictures for you, and then I'll send it to you. And, you're going to have to be happy with that. Because to her, she's explaining it to him like, oh, well, you can look, but you can't touch. I have all this anxiety. I've been locked up for 4 years, and I don't feel comfortable with being touched and stuff like that. And it's just like, girl, it's not the fact that you feel uncomfortable with being touched. You're just not attracted to him, but you're not going to tell him that because you're using him. So we see what's going on, but of course, in his mind, he's like, all right, she got a little apprehension. This is not how I felt like things were going to go, but I will go along with this today. He said, I can wait one more day. It's fine. He said, go ahead. It's fine. I can wait one more day. Just, go and get yourself together. Come back tomorrow and come correct. Have that lingerie on. Like, Deontay, he is just like, look, this my girl. I'm going to get what I want, whatever. So, even though she's turning down his advances, she's still accepting all these gifts. And I just don't like that because, Deontay said, he's telling her like, oh, you my forever. I'll do anything for you. And she's playing a dangerous game with playing with this guy's emotions because, for one, let's not forget Deontay said he was in the Marines, and the Marines are kind of known to be a little off. Okay? Because I think their training is like the most rigorous training. I don't know if I use that word right. Somebody leave it in the comments and let me know if that was the right word to use. But, to me, I feel like the Marines have the most intense training as far as like boot camp and stuff like that. So, she's really like kind of walking on dangerous ground, I feel like, with Deontay. I'm not saying that once he find out what's what, he gonna flip out and do this and do that. But honestly, when you playing with somebody's emotions, like, you never know how they are going to react to what you're doing. Like, you just can't be just taking stuff from people. I mean, and it's not even the fact that she's accepting the gift. She's accepting these grand gifts like Michael Kors watches and $1,000 and all this lingerie and a pair of tights and shoes and all kind of stuff. So, she might want to tread lightly, thinking that she about to get over on him, play him, and then go off and do whatever she want to do, because he's invested some time and some money into what he feels like is going to be a relationship. So, Nikki, girl, you need to slow down, be honest, or speak up or do something. So we are going to move on to Courtney and Josh. The scene starts off with them waking up the next day, and they're talking about how them getting it on was so amazing. And he was like, I didn't think I was going to know what to do. And she was just like, it was better than I expected. And they just pretty much both are happy. But I think that they're both so excited about the moment because she's waited and saved herself for him. And he's more than likely not been with a woman in 11 years. So I think at this point, I think it's so amazing to both of them because they both just finally just got some. And now it's out the way. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, okay, now what? Now y'all done did that. And now you about to move into that next step of seeing like, okay, how serious is he really? How is he going to be in this relationship? How is he going to be in the outside world? Because she really does not know him being in the outside world. So, to me, she's still living in kind of la la land in her head with this fantasy about what their relationship is going to be about. And I feel like on some level, he feels indebted to her because she lost her job over him, and she's telling him she really loved that job and all that other stuff. So, it's no telling if he's doing it out of obligation because he really loves her. He's really attracted to her. Like, he really don't want to be with nobody else. It's too soon for any of us to tell. And with her, I feel like she kind of needs to be cautious about that. Like, just kind of treading lightly as far as how serious she gets, how, as far as how soon. Like, they are married, but that's not a guarantee that he's going to do everything that she's expecting him to do or be everything that she's expecting him to be. So we'll see about that. Um, she asked him what he wants to eat because they're kind of getting up and they're about to eat. I don't know if it's breakfast, lunch, whatever. And of course he wants steak. And she's asking him like, "Oh, how do you want your steak?" And he's like, "Well, I want it well done." And she seemed kind of irritated because she like, "Oh, that's gonna be like a hockey puck." But my thing is, just because somebody want a well done steak, do not mean that it have to be nasty. Okay, learn how to get your seasonings together. Get you a little casserole dish, pour them seasonings in there, make sure there's some liquid in there. Throw that steak in the oven, throw that steak in the pressure cooker. He can get a nice, tender, well done steak, and it don't have to be tough like a hockey puck. But then again, everybody don't know how to cook, so that's all I'm gonna say on that. And then first of all, he said he was used to eating ramen noodles in jail. Now, maybe they serve ramen noodles in jail because we eat ramen noodles. So, Josh, I'm gonna need you to learn how to say ramen noodles properly. Like, come on now, don't mess up, don't mess up the pronunciation of the worldwide American easy meal that we all know and love. Well, I don't know if everybody love it, but I mean, shoot, we eat noodles around here, so that ain't all we eat. But I'm just saying, we do keep some noodles in here. But it's ramen, not ramen. I don't think that's just the accent. I think he's just saying it wrong. Maybe it was the people he was around. I don't know, but I don't know why that just irked me. But I was like, come on now. I can't stand when people mispronounce the most basic stuff. Or just say noodles. If you don't know how to say it, just say noodles. um, he asked her, where does she see their relationship going within a year? And she lets him know, like, look, I just don't want us to be at each other's throats in a matter of a year. And with that, like, I don't know if she's saying, like, I don't know if she's saying that she just wants them to be able to get along for a year, or she's kind of projecting her other relationships like, look, within a year, I just want us to be getting along, and that's for real, it's like a simple request. That's not really something that's too hard to ask somebody, like, oh, well, I just want to make sure we're in a good space, getting along or whatever. Maybe she elaborated more and they edited that part out. Who knows? But, I feel like that was actually a really good and mature question for him to ask, because he probably is thinking like, okay, or maybe he was trying to pick her brain, like, okay, where do you see this going? Like, where do you see us ending up within a year's time? So, I don't know. I really thought that was a really good idea to ask her that question, because that is a serious question that you really want to ask of somebody um, that you're either in a serious relationship with or married to or whatever. I thought that was really good. Now, she did say something about how her life was and how she was raised and things that happened to her when she was younger, and she just wants somebody to love her, or she just wants to be important to somebody. And I can't remember how old Courtney is, but I think she's maybe in her uh 30s. So I'm kind of reading between the lines here a little bit, but I wonder if she has any sort of like fertility issues, because a lot of the times when women have fertility issues, they do feel like, if I had a child, that child would just love me for me and accept me, and I would be the most important person to them. So I don't know if that's going to get brought up, but I do kind of wonder, like, does she have any issues with fertility? And that's just a random question or a random thought that I had, because the way that she was talking, like, I can tell that she has had some trauma in her life, but I'm just hoping that that's not an issue that she's going through, because that is something that's really tough to be dealing with, especially once you hit 30 and you may have had other plans for yourself. The next couple that we're going to get back into is Rachel and Doug. Now, I like Rachel's outfit. I thought her outfit was cute. I like the little red top with the floral skirt and the way she had it tucked in with her little heels and stuff like that. And she said he wanted something that was conservative. And he also requested that she not wear any underwear under it or panties or whatever. But the way she put it together, it was real cute. So she's going to pick him up, and he gets out, and she just runs, jumps on him, and kind of wraps her legs around him, and they're outside kissing. And mind you, they doing this in front of all the other prisoners. So I'm sitting up here like. I know they sitting in there like, okay, yeah, he was telling the truth. He really do got somebody to come pick him up. She really believed all them lies that he was telling her. Not saying that that's the case, but you never know. Like, guys be a little bit more honest when they be around the other guys, and you don't know what he was in there telling them about her. Despite the fact that she's doing all this for him, taking care of his son, whatever. Like, them guys was standing outside, looking at him like, oh, okay. And he was like, oh, they jealous. And she was like, yeah. But, she won't worry about that too much. All she worried about is getting him back to that house and doing what it do, because that's what she been waiting on her husband that she been married to for 4 months. They kiss. She goes to the car, breaks out that big, huge, what is that, a log of bologna? Where did she even get that from? Where do you even buy something like that from? Costco, BJ's, or I don't know. I have never seen that in the store, but to each their own. So he opens up the bologna. He takes out this card that he has in his back pocket, and he cuts the bologna with the card. Now, mind you, it's his card, so he not gonna feel no kind of way about just cutting it and eating it. But I'm just like, bruh. You would have been better off just biting into the daggone log of bologna instead of doing that. That card is probably so doggone contaminated. He probably done dropped that thing on the floor, used it to pick his fingernails or do whatever. It was just nasty. So he gets released. He shows her that he has an ankle bracelet on because he is going to be on house arrest. And I tell you one thing. He asked her. He said, "Who's driving? You gonna let me drive?" And she was like, no, not that Cadillac. That truck is nice." So I tell you what, he might be a lot of things, or he might manipulate her, or talk down to her, or do whatever. But I can tell she know when to draw the line, because she was like, "Nah, you ain't driving this Cadillac." So we gonna leave that at that.